There's too much social economic, right?
Yeah.
What's going on in your home?
Exactly.
You have to study how you come to school tomorrow. You have to study where am I getting money? Where am I getting food to eat? You have to study, oh shucks, I can't do the assignment,
You
because
say-
Saturday I have to go and put somebody loan or to do a work to get money to go to school.
Nadine, you saying that, right? You know how I came to school for a couple of months?
Let me hear.
No.
Children takes and three hand roll me. Ask my mother.
On the corner.
Children takes in school
Oh yes, I remember we used to do that.
and roll three hand up roll me with Christopher and them in the back. I telling you,
Yeah.
when I come home and my mother will wake up in the morning, she didn't have money. Oh gosh, I just had that same cold that I have. People will understand.
Oh,
Yeah, and then there were days when I didn't come to school because I just didn't have money.
whoa, watch me.
What we went
What?
through.
Kevin, you blowing
Not forever.
Kevin,
Right?
you blowing
Those-
Kevin, you blowing my mind right now because I thinking we gambling in such a way to maybe
Right.
go and play game or to do
To play the
something,
mobile,
not
to
knowing
buy
that
something.
not knowing that you gambling to survive.
I'm telling you. When my mother and my stepfather wasn't on good terms and she wasn't getting money, and I think and she come and she said, boy, I had this whole listener. And I said, nah, I have. She know I ain't doing nothing too illegal, but she's like,
Yeah.
all right, it's done, you're good. Don't worry, I go get by, come in, I with my shilling tips, and that was my transport, that was lunch, that was my $2 roti on a lunchtime, I'm telling you.
And that is where our environment comes in.
I did, and then you see, and this is all of this is starting.
Everyone,
this
that
helping
is
you
where everyone
grow.
is different.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like for me, being among the boys,
boys.
yeah, being among the boys in class for me, that helped me for survival skills for today because I am more open. I could deal with anything that comes to me because I'm not afraid.
Yeah.
I am not
Yeah.
afraid.
I agree.
Understand? Because I had exposure, sometimes you go through stuff and you get to talk about certain things. I had every topic going on with you guys in school. We were exposed to it. We spoke about these things. So things that our parents afraid to talk about, they never, because their parents never spoke to them about it. Right? Even about sex and periods
Exactly.
and all of these things.
After
Their
this day, my
never spoke
parents
to
never
them. So
talk to me.
they learn, right, they learn along the way. They learn along the way.
I would tell. If that TV, if
Right,
that
so
box
they-
didn't teach me about that, I would tell.
Right. So you see, so they learned along the way. Right. So same thing with we, they didn't come and sit down and say, okay, today I'm going to talk to you about periods. I'm going to talk to you about sexual intercourse. They did not do that. We learn is what we heard from in school and what we learned. Now some parents can have an open relationship and talk to the children better now because we recognize here what the technology now they expose it anyway. We might as well sit down and tell.
Exactly.
Right. So for me, I did all of these things. But in my time, certain things they would have said and stuff because I am a girl, they had to explain to you. But everything about sex, they didn't know anything about sex. Sex was taboo. Nobody ain't talking about that.
For real. You know it happened, but it's not a personal information, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I don't tell people I know about sex before I was supposed to know about sex. You understand what I'm saying? But we existed in a time, I would say, which we are to be thankful because we came about in a time where technology started.
Yeah.
We get to see the change.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where our parents was either they know or they don't know.
Yeah.
We came into a time when people came in and
Right.
and we get the window to the world and we get to experience the first wave of what technology.
Yeah.
And
So
even
I
in the
think-
beginning, not everybody had that because
Exactly.
not everybody had internet, computer, and all of these things. For me, in the beginning, when start, we didn't have all of that stuff.
For me to watch cable, I had to go by my grandmother.
Right.
Yeah.
All of these things.
Yeah.
I think because of that, that's why our togetherness was so tight. Our group
Yeah.
so tight because we didn't have
Less
phones to
distraction.
distract us, social
Less
media to distract us. we would talk to each other face to face. We would find ways to chill out with each other and so on.
I tell you, if we didn't like you, we would have to tell you to your face.
Your face.
Think about it. We didn't have to put it up on our status and hope you
No, we couldn't leave you out. We couldn't leave you out of the WhatsApp group.
Exactly.
I want to tell you, you had to face your enemy or your friend or at that point in time and deal with it at that point in time.
Yeah.
Some people be thrown in bush until the next person catch it and catch the message and all that thing. You know, so we have generation that, as I say, we need to impart some of our knowledge and some of us need to take that responsibility. But we tend to hold in a corner. We want to be the best friend. We want to be children's best friend and best friend and best friend. No, we have a calling to pass on what we need to pass on. You're talking about all the dirty things you do in the background. No, but you need to be able to communicate with them at this point in time because they need it. They might act like they don't need it. You know, hear what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
They at a young age receiving so much information for the young brain. Most of them going mad before they reach it. Substance abuse, and they just can't control it. Too much information and they cannot process it. But you think they're going to have a breakdown. I can tell you that because I can look out in the day and see about 5 young men going scary mad. I have nephews that once they find certain information and they get certain information about basic things, slavery and all these little things, they go mad because they do not know how to process it. Because they just don't have a relationship or they don't know who they are. To say, well, I understand this and okay, this happened because of X, Y, and Z. They skip in classes, they skip in standard, and going straight from 0 to 100 and they miss the basics. So if you don't know the basics, so you go do these special movements and it applies across the board for anything. So too much information injected into the brain, they are unable to process it because the brain hasn't been trained. You have to train your brain. So you look at psychology, anything you do, anything you want to become a leader, you have to train yourself. It's a training, it's a process you go through. So when we put a lot of pressure on our young children to be the best and we compete them at the age of 2 and yeah, lucky talking before the next one and no, that is madness. We're setting up our children for failure. Listen, I go on graduation for my child in what's called preschool, right? Preschool graduation. And they are giving out trophies and medals for every child. Best smile, most active. How you would give out trophies for best smile, most active, and all them stupidness. When you get older, when they don't receive that, where's your figure the reaction? They will not feel rejected.
But the thing is, they probably did it in a perspective. They just tried to give it a name, but really the aim is probably was in that case to give trophies to everyone so that they would not feel rejected.
Trophy for inclusiveness is a setup for a big man. Because if you figure every time you just show up, you're supposed to be accepted, then you do not push yourself and you will not prepare yourself for failure. And if you don't know how to take failure, you can't be a winner. Because we just sit down and watch all the nice stories of all the successful men and stuff and say, yeah, the thing. But they just tell you how much months they suffer, they cry, they lost this, they lost their family, they lost that, they didn't have this, they end up with nothing, the thing, they find a length. We just miss the whole story and just hear the success story. But some of these people take years and hours. I remember one thing Elon Musk say, he said everybody say he privileged. But up to now, nobody just come and say, well, listen, this man will get 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I can attest to that. So if I walk on my baby, people say, boy, give me $1, boy, you're making money. You know what time I just wake up? You know the hours I just clock to make that $1. So we just miss. So we keep selling a success story to the younger ones. Yeah, you're gonna make it. Just get YouTube page now. You're gonna make it. You're gonna be successful. But when they're unsuccessful, who will not deal with the mess that these children go through? That hey, you gas them up. You gas them up as a parent, as a friend, as a father, uncle, whoever. You gas them up, and it did not teach them that hey, you might feel that. So it have competition out. It might have competition out there. So we kind of want to push the children to be the best, but some of us not realistic. I will see it, and I will say to any parent straight to the face, sometimes we're not realistic. Because as a parent, sometimes you're not even giving you 100, you're selling it less than that. Because you're paying $10,000 every month, you expect them to be successful.
And I work in the education sector, so I've been seeing young people and dealing with young people for a while, and even in my church as well, I've been dealing with young people, even in my neighborhood. But the fact is, and to tie up this conversation, I have seen, especially with the lockdown, what I would call the lockdown generation, the difficulty of studying online, and that is if they have a device, and even the worse yet, when they recognize that their parents lost their jobs.
Yeah.
Now they might have to go into survival mode to find a way to get something to eat, right? And also on the other side of things, how we would be growing up thinking we want to be a police or a doctor or whatever. The big companies what downsizing right now, and nobody in want to hire nobody because of the COVID experience, right? Nobody in hiring. So how are you going to study now thinking, hey, I'm going to aspire to be a designer or whatever? But right now, companies on a lockdown that they're not even sending out vacancies. So
yes, but on that note, I think in the future, I think they will have a lot of migration. Migration is
that is the word. That is the story of the word. Migration. It will take place. Look at we have the Venezuelans, you know.
Because in our time, yeah. And they are looking for a better living, right? But I believe a lot of Trinidadians would go to her because in our times back then, we have those that we call the barrel children in our era when the parents went away to make a better living and left the children with the grandparents.
Yeah.
It is happening today, but not as much.
No.
As before, because Trinidad, we have seen things raise up quite a lot in terms of jobs being provided and all of these things. But now, besides people migrating, there's another thing that in terms of that is taking place now, where people before, like we would be able to express ourselves more in terms of the communication, the face-to-face interaction that we would have had. But now children, like they are in boxes, they're in a vacuum. So for the day, I just have to do my work. I don't even want to speak to my parents once I do my work. So that is the difference there with now and then, is the communication. Because the children in we time, we had a camaraderie that we spoke about earlier because we were face to face. But what about now? We're missing all this. Even the teachers and all are just sending stuff in a WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
Right? And they are children that are feeling left out because they only have internet 2 days a week or something, or if the parent have a plan on the phone and they say, listen, they could get to join in on the class Tuesday and Thursday, but they have 2 other siblings. They need to do 2 days and you will do 1 day this week and you'll fill it next week again. Right? But I don't know what I think a lot of teachers are not noticing the slip. So yes, the children are in school and yes, they'll be, but really and truly, a child could be breaking class right there because they're not even taking you on.
The
teacher
actually class.
Exactly. I have 40 children in class. Okay, John, I wait for John to answer. Jim, no, the teacher just run to the participant. Okay, this is who is here, and that's it. So mommy don't know if he's active in class, and Miss doesn't even know because she just saw his name there today. And she knows that he's a quiet child, so even if he didn't answer for the week, that's okay with Miss, once I see his name there. But there are also the teachers that are bending backwards, and they are doing their best, that they are trying to provide stuff for the children, they're trying to get the devices, they're doing the extra work, they're planning the stuff, and they're going the distance for the children.
The thing is, on the flip side, the young people find it more difficult. Some of them find it more difficult to cope, and especially if they have lack of resources. For example, bad internet or no internet at all, or no device, then they will always be playing catch up, right? So I'll give you all one last statement to go with. Tell me what would you tell the young society today, how to keep up, how to focus, and how to prosper in this life? In 1 minute, go.
Okay, for me, I would say one of the things that kept me throughout my especially my adult life, and I could see it from small, is my relationship with God. Right. Once especially what we are seeing in today's society, even with COVID happening now and throughout the world, we have to put our trust in God and believe that He has a plan and purpose for our lives. And no matter what may come, we still have to understand that we were created with a purpose. But first, we have to understand who we are. Let us not try to please society and please our peers. I know the peer pressure could be a lot sometimes. But we still have to look at ourselves and say, this is who I am. And I have greatness in me. So the teachers and with everyone around us, even our parents speaking to you all, your parents speaking to you, it's just trying to bring that greatness out of you, that you wouldn't go along a wrong path in life, but you will receive that direction to fulfill your purpose and bring out the greatness in you, that you could be a great impact in society.
Thanks, Nadine. Kevin, shoot.
You're welcome.
Just as Nadine said, she mentioned something, peer pressure. And I would like to leave with all the youth. Peer pressure is nothing to shake off. As long as you know who you are, where you're from, and where you want to go. And that's something I learned from a young age coming up. I accepted who I was. I accepted where I came from. So they want to go and smoke or break beach. No, that wasn't me. And I had no problem saying, no, I will here. You understand? So taking a stance and knowing who you are first and foremost, and part of knowing who you are, find out who you are is knowing your history. And I would encourage people to do little history courses on themselves, find out who your family lineage, find out your history on your country, find out history further. And then it helps you develop you as a person, understanding, all right, life isn't just this concept that was created for us, but they had different concepts back then, and you can link, and you can borrow, and you can mix and match, and whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And you can find yourself and knowing that, hey, is what I stand for. So you're creating your own principles. You don't just have a piggyback of other people's principles, but you're creating something that you are comfortable with, and you can live with, and most important, you can sleep with, so with that, all right, this is where I belong, and this is where I want to be. So and knowing yourself really empowers you to say no to what is not necessary. At this point in time, we have a lot of information, and a lot of things coming that is unnecessary, that is destructive, and it kind of takes you away from your path. So, going forward, just know who you are, and it opens up your eyes and the doors to your true and full potential.
I would say it's a little of both Nadine and Kevin, right? I remember I had peer pressure. I felt like I had peer pressure and even low self-esteem. But when I actually got serious with God, with Christ, that's when I realized I have more talent than I thought. I have more gifts than I thought, more skills. Right now, I have countless skills and giftings that people would say, wow. But it's all about leaning on that identity when you find it and going forward with that faith fearlessly. I would call it fearless faith, and just jump out. And even though if it's scared, still jump out, right? And see how far it will take you. Even if it fail, still get back up again. You understand?
That's right.
Because
Reality, don't afraid failure.
it's hard to fail because I faced failure many times. It's hard to fail and to roll out the bed the next morning to go again. Because sometimes they'll say, for what? What is the point? You understand? But keep going at it. And I want to thank Kevin and Nadine in the podcast, right? And guys,
Yeah,
big up,
Being here, brother.
you're welcome.
Big up.
It's been our pleasure.
right?
Nice, it was nice. It was always nice to see family.
This is actually a small reunion, right? So it's
Yeah.
been my pleasure being here. And this is one of many to come, eh?
One of many to come. And those who out there listening, to make sure that you take in every advice, every story that we have told you, and hopefully that it benefits you, and do feel free to share it and to inspire others with your own story as well.
Thank you for listening to On The Beat Podcast. Feel free to share, follow, and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, and Instagram. Stay blessed, everyone.